Okay, let's take a look at some of the answers that you got here on your subtracting like fractions. And notice that step 2 says, write the difference in simplest form. Divide the numerator and denominator by their greatest common factor. Okay, so as I told you when we were first talking about this page, I was going to do another video about simplest form. This is that other video about simplest form. And we need to be able to find the greatest common factor. Greatest, I think you know what that means. That means the biggest one. Common, that means one that both the numerator and the denominator have alike. They have in common. Factor. This is the word that I think needs a little bit more explanation. What is a factor? A factor of a number is a number that can be multiplied by another number to get that number. Does that make sense? No, that doesn't make sense. Mrs. Gilmore, explain that. Okay, I will. So for instance, 2 multiply 3 equals 6. Both 2 and 3 are factors of 6. It means that you can count by 2s and get to 6. You can count by 3s and get to 6. They are both factors of 6. 6 is a multiple of 2 and 6 is a multiple of 3. Okay? So these are factors. Now, how do we find factors? There's different ways to find factors. I'm going to go over what I find to be the simplest way to find factors. Your teacher may have taught you another way. And if the way your teacher taught you or the way I have taught you still doesn't make sense, you can ask me, you can ask your teacher, you can even search for a YouTube video on finding factors, okay? So I'm going to start with a number that has a lot of factors. That number is 24, okay? Now, the first two numbers we know every number has as factors is the number 1 and itself. That is going to be the smallest factor a number has and the biggest number a factor has, right? So 1 times 24 equals 24. Now, I'm going to start moving this direction until I meet in the middle. Then I'll know I found all of the factors of this number. So the next number I'm going to consider is 2. Is 2 a factor of 24? Well, if 2 is a factor of a number, that number is even. Is 24 even? Even numbers end with 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Yes, 24 is even. That means 2 goes into 24. So I'm going to write a comma and a 2. I know 2 is a factor of 24. Now I'm going to count by 2s until I get to 24. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. 12. That means 12 is also a factor of 24. And I'm going to write it over here. I can write these right next to each other because even though there's a lot of numbers between 12 and 24, I know none of them are factors of 24 because these, there's no number in between them. Okay, no whole number in between them. 1 and 2, 12 and 24. That's the factors we have so far. Next, I'm going to consider 3. Can I count by 3s and get to 24? Let's find out. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Yes, I can. 3 is a factor of 24, and it took me 8 3s to get there. That means that 3 and 8 are factors of 24. Okay? Now, the only factors that could possibly be left are 4, 5, 6, and 7 because that's all that's in between 3 and 8. Well, let's think about 4. Can I count by 4s and get to 24? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Sure enough, 6 4s makes 24. That means 4 is a factor of 24 and 6 is a factor of 24. 4 and 6. Well, the only number left is 5. Is 5 a factor of 24? No, because factors of 5 all either end as 0 or 5. Oh, multiples of 5, sorry. Any number that has 5 as a factor either has a 5 or a 0 in the ones place. Every multiple of 5 has a 5 or a 0. So I know 5 is not a factor of 24. This tells me I have now found all of the factors of 24. Okay? 24 has quite a few factors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 24. Okay? I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do the number 25 because it has fewer factors. And then we're going to look at your answer sheet here, okay? Let's look at the number 25. What two numbers am I going to start with? That's right, 1 and 25. The smallest and the largest factors of the number are 1 and itself. Now, next I check 2. Can 2 go into 25? Is 2 a factor of 25? No, 25 is not even. Even numbers end in 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. That's not right. How about 3? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27. I went past 25. I did not say 25. 3 is not a factor of 25. How about 4? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Nope, 4 is not either. Here's a hint. If 2 is not a factor, no other even number is either. Once we say that 2 is not a factor because it's not even, you don't have to worry about 4, 6, 8, 10. No other even number is going to be a factor. Okay, then how about 5? Well, it ends in a 5, so yeah. How many 5s? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 5 5s. Here is a situation where this is what we call a square number, because 5 multiplied by 5 equals 25. That means that if we have an array of 5 by 5, it's going to make a square. Therefore, 25 is what we call a square number. In the case of a square number, we are going to have an odd number of factors because we're not going to write down 5 twice. So we saw all the factors 24 had. 5 only has 3 factors. 1, 5, 25. Okay, so now that we know how to find factors, we can go back and look at our answers and find some greatest common factor.